There was never the idea to break any record, to be the only, to be the first. That was not objective. The bass beef was not even, we need a Perpetual in it, to be honest. It was all concentrated on the Grande Sonnerie.
And you choose. Either you want a typical Westminster sound we have seen, heard hundreds of times before, but now you can choose the Blancpain Eric Singer sound, and this is emotion, pure emotion. I love it.
Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. It's Alexander speaking to you today from the Vallée de Joux in Switzerland, the Jura Mountains. I'm standing here looking down to the lake of the Vallée de Joux and the village of Le Brassus, Le Sentier, etc. And we're just close to the French border. If I look over there, just a few footsteps away from here is France. And here is, I would say, the heart. It's one of the hearts of Swiss watchmaking. There are several areas where you have lots of manufacturers established, or they have established themselves. But here, Vallée de Joux is really the heart of Swiss watchmaking, as I think it is. In the Vallée de Joux, you have brands like Jaeger-LeCoultre, you have Breguet, you have Blancpain, Audemars Piguet. Patek Philippe has a small entity where they put together some perpetual calendars, etc. Philippe Dufour. Lots of watchmakers, independent watchmakers, and of course the big brands as just mentioned are all here. And this is a valley where lots of innovations also have been conceived and then end of the day brought alive. And this is what we are going to discover today with Blancpain together with Mark Hayek. I'm very happy to see him today after a little while. And what Blancpain is going to show us today is really stunning. It is not a minute repeater, it is a Grande Sonnerie, meaning a watch that is not only able to chime on demand, but by itself if you let it do so. And on top, there is a guy called Eric Singer. You might have heard about him. He is the drummer of Kiss. And Eric Singer, you don't believe it, he did. He composed music for that Grande Sonnerie. And I have no idea, I didn't see the watch yet, I have no idea how it looks like, I have no idea what kind of music he composed, but we are going to discover all of that in this video. So stay tuned, enjoy, and one thing, don't quit the video before the end, because my cameraman Jorge is a musician. And he plays in bands, he is performing, he is on stage and with his band, he's touring around in Europe. And what Jorge is going to do, he's going to take the composition of Eric Singer, and we will bring it to a next level with a piano, with drums, with a guitar, and we are going to try to really make this little melody he has been composing for Blancpain to a song. So don't miss it, stay until to the end, and let us discover what Jorge did for me and you.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
Well then, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Mr. Hayek, a very warm welcome on WatchAdvisor on YouTube. Why did I do this with the drumsticks? Because in the beginning already you saw me introducing the project, the watch, and I told you that a guy called Eric Singer, yes, Eric Singer, composed the music for that incredible project you did. To launch such a project, it was 8 years ago, you told me first, what was your basic idea to say, I want such a crazy watch that does not only chime on 4 notes, the typical, what we ever hear from a Grande Sonnerie, but more than this. What was your basic idea to do it?
I was always quite fascinated by minute repeaters, by kind of sounding watches. It was just the complication that for me we missed at Blancpain. And to redo or to break a record or to say we want one more complication of something then was just something I didn't feel really enough motivation or right to do. So it was something I felt we had to do. And with the years of building up expertise, we're building up the teams, said it's something, we are ready to develop something exceptional with our guys without needing help. It was something that we missed. But that's why I said we have to put the bar somewhere higher. Mm-hmm. There was never the idea to break any record, to be the only, to be the first. That was not objective.
In just a few minutes from now, we are going to hear the impressive sound of the clock tower behind me. This is the church of Le Brassus here in the Vallée de Joux, because the clock tower is sounding every 15 minutes. 15, 30, 45 is always sounding twice to indicate 15, 30, and 45. And at full hour, he's sounding again the indication that another 15 minutes passed. And on top, the clock tower adds the correct hours. So what you're going to hear in a couple of minutes is ding, 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 ding. 4 times the 15 minutes. Then we know it's again a full hour. And then the clock tower with another sound, of course, will sound you 11 strokes and tell you it's 11 o'clock. The privilege of distributing time was the privilege of the church, was the privilege of the kings and all the guys ruling the country. It was expensive to have time at home, very expensive even. And only little by little, time made its way on the wrists, in the pockets first, of course, but then on the wrists of every one of us. And finally, yes, everyone has its smartphone. It's not difficult to find time. But in the past, you either looked in the sky or by listening to what the chimes of the church would sound like. And a Grande Sonnerie, that's the watch we are seeing at Blancpain now. A Grande Sonnerie is able to do this on your wrist. Normal, a minute repeater, you slide, you push, and then you activate the minute repeater, and then it will sound you the correct time. But a Grande Sonnerie en passant, as you call it in French, Grande Sonnerie by waiting just for it, let me translate it in an easy way. The watch on your wrist will chime 15, 30, 45, and of course the full hour, and you don't have to do anything. It will do it by its own. And this is the difference in between a minute repeater and a Grande Sonnerie and Grande Sonnerie en passant. So listen to what the clock sounds like. Then we will later show you on how it sounds like on a wrist. And by the way, this thing doesn't stop all night long. So if you were somewhere here in the area, and I did that many, many years ago, there's a hotel just beside here called Hotel Le Land. If you were sleeping here, it was nice. You had some entertainment at night.
If you activate it en passant, as we say in French, Grande Sonnerie en passant, you can wear the watch and the watch will chime every 15 minutes and indicate your time. And this is what the watches, they were telling time and now they're playing music.
Yeah.
And you choose. Either you want a typical Westminster sound we have seen, heard, not millions, but hundreds of times before maybe. But now you can choose the Blancpain Eric Singer sound, and if you like it, you leave it. And this is emotion, pure emotion. I love it. Were you fed up with the typical chime those watches normally perform, and you said, okay, I want really something more? What was it?
Yeah, because somehow they're kind of adding a little bit something to say we have something more. Mm-hmm. But essentially, the base idea was a Grande Sonnerie, not just a new minute repeater or whatever. And I said, but if we do a Grande Sonnerie, we cannot just do one to say, yeah, it's as good, or it is a little bit louder, or it is than the one that exists from this and this guy. And so I said, guys, we have to do that. We have to put the bar higher, because we're definitely not the first. And we don't want to go the easy way to just add a thing, just say we have one more thing. And it has to stay in the theme. The rest that we have on the watch, the Perpetual calendar, the Tourbillon, was just a natural thing to do. I mean, you wouldn't do a complicated piece like that and say you don't put a tourbillon. The bass engine has to be.
That's something that has to be in there.
Yeah, and
by natural way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I forget always the date. So I love watches with a date.
Yeah.
More or less readable, whatever, but it's something I say, okay, that makes sense. But if you're at that level, it has to be perpetual. So that was not adding complication. That was just a base function that a watch for me kind of has to have. And the base brief was not that. The base brief was not even, we need a perpetual in it, to be honest. It was all concentrated on the Grande Sonnerie. And what do you want more?
And then you said, okay, let's give the watch the possibility to chime a second
melody.
But you were limited, because if you are chiming Westminster, you are limited in notes. You have 4 notes, and you can't really go forward and backward very much, and you're limited. But you said, okay, based on what we have and based on what the watch anyhow can do, I want the cherry and the cake.
Yeah.
And, did at that time, 8 years ago, when you conceived the idea or when you had the idea, already Eric Singer knew that he had to do this?
No.
Okay.
It was with the second melody, because you start with the Grande Sonnerie, you say what melody. For me, if you do that, it's the Big Bang. That's where it's coming from. So it's the real, not an interpretation, it's the real Westminster. That's just the base, but I want something additional. We have to have fun. We have to create emotion. So it's not one with another melody. That's the obligation. That's putting the base. That's respecting our history and where we come from. Not the watchmaker comes from, where the idea of a Grande Sonnerie comes from. So that put it there. And then we said, okay, second melody. So we find something, wait a minute, now we're going to make it fun. And I remember the first time I told my guys, I said, we talk to a friend, we see, everything. I said, what do you want to put? That's rock, that's what Kiss, that's it. I said, no, it's not the rock, it's the musician. Because when we met many, many years ago, met more the person than Kiss.
Yeah, you told me first that you met at Basel World.
Yeah.
By coincidence, more or less, and then you met a personality, a person, and not the musician, not the drummer. You met Eric Singer.
Not the star.
Yeah.
I met a watch fanatic, a person, and a great artist. That's how the relationship started. And I said, we have to create a melody. We have to do something different. That's not just a different melody that sounds good, and we say, it's nice, and we have a second melody. Naturally, it was like, oh no, that's a headache. Because that would take time, that would take, So I talked to him, he's like, oh, cool, great, composing melody.
Yeah, but he didn't know how limited he was.
And years passed in between. It was would you be ready? He said, yeah, great. And years passed until we got to the point and say, okay, now we start needing to think about the second melody. So I said, come on, we have to start working on it. And then he called me and said, Mark, but really we have to stay in the same four tones? So I said, yeah. Then a day later, or a few hours, called him and said, yeah, but, certain rhythm or two tones. So I said, let me check what we can do with the level. No way. So it was quite really a fun.
It is still a mechanical instrument.
Yeah.
It's a mechanical watch, so certain technical rules you can't break yet.
Absolutely.
Maybe in the future, but we know.
So it was really a new and different experience. Then we got 10 different melodies, 3 really very close.
Then you picked
Other
one,
ones, at the end, we said, okay,
and
we'll pick this one.
then the team had to start really to make it happen, the whole thing.
They were really happy that they had finally which one.
Okay. You are breaking rules with the watch. Never done before. You have lots of technical solutions that are amazing. I've never seen anything comparable in a Grande Sonnerie. And finally, you had to bring it to the market, and there you are. This is really fascinating because it brings watchmaking back to pure emotions. It's no longer about the price. Of course, the watch is not cheap, but don't worry. I don't think that this is the problem. It's really pure emotions. Really, I love it when I discovered the project today with all the passion, with all your co-workers, with all the guys, with the watchmakers, those who do the finishing. Everybody was so motivated, and you feel passion. You don't talk about money, you feel passion.
Yeah.
And this is what makes, for me, as a passionate watch guy, so fantastic. And I have to really say, Mark, thank you for doing it, bringing it to the market. Only a few will have one, because it's pretty expensive, I have to tell you guys. I won't be one of the owners, but I think it's pure emotion. And I think this is what watchmaking needs today.
Yeah. That was actually way more than being the first of something in it or whatever. That was the result. The patents, we discovered, and we're still saying, is it really the only one that does this? Because it was never the objective. The objective was to have the most emotional, and that's why it also took a lot of time, because with so many little details, I said, nah, guys, back. We have to change that. Just the angle going to 30 degrees was not because we said, oh, it has to be different 30 degrees.
But this is, you're talking about decoration,
Yes.
the decoration of that movement.
Yeah.
I have, for many years, not seen anything comparable, really. Even the big names, the Magic, Triangle, all those who were hyped, etc., they don't do that. It's Blancpain doing it. Really, you go in every little, detail and you don't stop. And we have seen tiny little things I couldn't even see on my thumb. And I said, it's fully decorated. Yes, but not everywhere, because there are functional parts and there are parts you can decorate. So it was Jennifer 1, because we had 2 Jennifers in the atelier. It was Jennifer 1 who said, yeah, I may decorate one part of it and the other one I can't touch. This is amazing. Everything. If a guy who buys the watch would dismantle the watch, he could see not a single part not being decorated.
Yeah.
Not one.
No, we don't stop where you see it. It's really emotion. It's also, it should be a watch that is worn. For me, that's the consumption of a watch is your pleasure. It should be worn and it should be continue to discover. It should be actually, you should like it more when you have it longer than the first day, that you discover things. There's so many things. Where the tourbillon is, it looks like in a hole, it had to be like a mirror behind that it comes out. That's also why the testing, the security, sure, it stays a highly complicated piece. It's not a sports watch that you go play golf with it, but it's a watch
Hopefully not.
yeah.
You could impress afterwards in the clubhouse. You can impress.
Yeah, that's why I also wearing test. I was wearing the prototypes, tried to give a feeling. You need a certain size. It should be the smallest possible for this many pieces, over 1,000 pieces in it. You need a certain size, but to have it wearable from the strap, from the angle of the locks, from the security and the use, because for me that's what a watch is.
Mark talks about security. It's not about the security you need to secure your watch on the wrist. It is that Blancpain, when Blancpain develops any complicated watches, they test them as long with every possible thought that could be done to the watch or mishandling it, and you exclude everything. So everything is secured. You can't not mishandle the watch. So whatever you do with it, there is no in between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the evening, I may not switch this or set this. You can do whatever you want and you will not break it.
Yeah.
This is your security.
Yeah, that it really endures the use. You should use it over years and make it sound, and not after 30 times it starts getting tired.
You have been developing a new generation of gongs for the watch.
Yeah,
patented.
Yes.
And it's a completely new generation of gongs. We've never seen anything comparable yet. And it brings together so many new developers. And if you normally say, yeah, there's a column wheel, everybody thinks about, it's a nice chronograph. But they use the column wheel for switching in between the Blancpain melody and the normal Westminster sound. So really pushing. And then you also change the correctors under the locks.
Under the locks, yeah.
So everything is easy to set.
Yeah, it should be, for me, aesthetically nicer, because you have a whole normal watch case and easier to use, because I'm the first that doesn't have or loses the pieces, the little corrector pen. And then what do? You take something and you try to push it, and it's hard.
And then you scratch the watch or you harm it. Yeah, you shouldn't. Something also fascinating, I know if one of you watching maybe has 1.7 million Swiss francs to spend, including Swiss VAT already, just in case you have, Blancpain will be more than happy to change everything that can be changed without banalizing the project. You can choose colors, materials.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, because for me, that's the idea of it. A watch for me is an expression, it's emotion. And it should be something, it's one of the most personal things we have. I'm horrible. I never take off my watch. I sleep with it. I take showers. So it's something very close and something personal. And it should be your expression. yeah, we cannot say, okay, we add this complication, that's a new movement. But if you say, I want not to see the whole mechanism, but I want a dial on it, whatever. If it's, I like mother of pearl, I like my grand feu, we do that. You say, I want not gold, I want titanium case, or I want a black movement. All that is something we would like to do with the client. Or you say, okay, no, I want a diamond set watch because that's my expression. Fantastic. We will develop the case, adapt, do it with you as a client, because it should be something that is more than just a great watch, something special, something rare you wear, something expensive you wear. That should not be what you feel. It's your expression, and I hope to have different ideas. If somebody comes and say, okay, I want a titanium case, but kind of sapphire, whatever is technically possible. There are some limits at the end, but we're willing to probe and test and push these limits.
We also learned today that 2 watchmakers that have been chosen from the entire Blancpain team who are able to do such a watch. What I really found, it's a perfect way of a brand to say thank you to a watchmaker. His personal name will be on the watch. So 2 of them are doing a watch. It takes them about 1 year, so 2 per year. If you want one, still if you have those 1.7 million, be quick because you will have to wait a while. But the watchmaker is finishing the watch in about a year, and then his name will be engraved and put on a watch. I am not sure if I've seen this very often yet. There is the brand name Blancpain still, and there's the name of the watchmaker himself. Other watchmakers put the name on the dial. It's Blancpain, but the watchmaker is on the...
Yeah, it's Blancpain on the backside. It's his name.
It's fantastic.
For me, it's these guys were for years now inside the project. That's how they got building. They participate from the first prototypes, assembling, finishing, and giving feedback. For me, the first owner of a watch like that is the watchmaker. After a year you work on something, it's your baby. As seen for the tone, you adjust it manually. So even though the overall is the same thing, it will be slightly different from one guy to the other. And at the same time, it's also responsibility because...
once it comes back,
you know it's yours.
Who is in charge, you know. No, but I really was with you in the atelier, in the workshop before, when we met one of the watchmakers, and when you told me this, I really got goosebumps, because this is really show respect to them. It's not telling them, okay, you are paid, you are my watchmaker, now do it. You show respect, and this is really absolutely... Yeah.
I think I cannot ask that they go this far if you don't get this back. And it's not money, it's sure you have a salary, but
it's pure emotion.
We ask more than 8 hours and then it's gone. And it's different relationship you have with the guys.
The entire project is loaded with emotions, and this is why I'm so excited today, because too often we get to places where emotions stand beside and it's only about money. Can we sell? How much can I sell the watch when I bought it? No, forget it. We're talking about a super cool project. It will be only available for a few of us, but the fact that you did it, and it will not end there, because if you want to start things like this, I imagine that you have more of
there are
some
other babies on the way, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then
but not versions of light of this one, just other interesting projects.
Okay, very nice. I have to say thank you, Mark, for having us here at Blancpain. Thank you for bringing back real emotions, because this is what counts for me. I'm a watch guy, 200%. I don't care about reselling value and stuff. It's really, I don't care about that. And you don't, I think.
No, it's so great to hear, because for me, that's, I started first loving watches before I was a weird child that helped me, because I was... loving watches.
You had good people around you. If I talk about your grandpa, you were influenced a little bit, of course. Mark Hayek, he's proud. I'm proud to be here. Thank you very much for watching another video on a WatchAdvisor on YouTube. And as I told you guys, don't skip yet, because you will see what we, WatchAdvisor, did with the melody composed by Eric Singer. We will bring it to a next level. Our cameraman Jorge, who is 500% musician, he's going to try to make something out of it, and this is what you're going to hear right now. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, thank you for allowing us to do it. It will be fun, but I think we have to more emotionalize this thing, because,
Fantastic.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.